All right, folks, they say third time's the charm. Let's try sixth. I wanted to record a little bit about the assignment for Essay 1 for you just to clarify some questions and hopefully get ahead of some questions for you. So for Essay 1 assignment, you guys are going to be picking a value. And this will be a social, moral, or ethical value. So something like kindness or gentleness or charity or truthfulness. So I think a characteristic that we want to embody, right? So something that people strive to embody. And so that's what you're going to pick for essay one. Now, the deal is that the value will appear somewhere in a couple of the essays that you've been reading for the first couple weeks. So, truth, for instance, appears not necessarily always obviously, but it appears in a number of the readings, like Plato's Cave or Appiah's work, or even civil disobedience. So you just kind of have to sometimes extrapolate. But nevertheless, you're going to find a value that's apparent in a couple of the readings for any of the first 3 weeks, so you can even read ahead a little bit. And you're going to investigate that value. So excuse me, sorry, I'm trying to get through without coughing too much. So this will be a personal characteristic that people strive for, and what you'll want to do is you'll kind of want to think about it. What does it mean to you? And somewhere in the introduction, you'll want to define the value in your own words. Then, as you're reading, of course, through the two texts that you've selected, you'll want to, highlight. You'll want to take your notes because another task that you have for this essay is to clearly describe how the authors in those two essays how they represent the value. So, if you're writing about truth, again, how does Plato represent truth? You'll have to choose another author as well. So if you choose Appiah, how does Appiah represent truth? And so you'll need to discuss that in your essay as well. Then, and this is something that we'll discuss more next week, you'll want to kind of use some different philosophical frameworks to examine this value. And so this is where Kant's categorical imperative will come in. So we'll talk about that next week. You don't need to worry about it too much now. But that'll give you a framework, again, for investigating the value. And we'll do the same with the absolute versus situational. That's another framework that we'll use to help analyze. Then also in the essay, you'll want to talk about, what do you think of this personally? How do you think it shows up? Is it different now than it was, let's say, back in Plato's time? That'll be another, how does this apply to society today? And then what are the problems that kind of creep up sometimes with this value? And that'll also, once we get those frameworks working for you, that'll be a little bit easier to discuss as well. So for this week, what you'll want to do is you'll definitely want to choose the value that you're going to be investigating. And you'll want to focus on one of, find your essays that you're going to use, and you'll want to focus on figuring out how the value that you chose appears in those essays, so how you'll discuss them, how you'll extrapolate from them. And this will be a good place to use that 20 questions sort of exercise to really inquire into the text. So if you were to choose, for instance, truth and Plato, so a question that you'll want to keep going is, how does truth apply here? How does truth apply there? What does Plato mean when he talks about this? What does Plato mean when he talks about that, right? So just kind of keep those questions going and inquire into the text. In terms of the requirements for the papers, the essay needs to be 5 full pages in length. So not 4.5, not 4.25, 5 full pages in length. It needs to be double spaced in an MLA format. And again, if the requirement isn't met, the essay will be returned. And then, of course, the essay should not be plagiarized. And I know AI is making our world very different than it used to be even a few years ago. But papers can be plagiarized through AI, and we've got some checkers now that are really good at picking up on AI usage. And this includes Grammarly as well. So don't run anything through Grammarly yet. We'll chat in class again about this next week. If you have any questions about your essay, please go ahead. You can email me, you can text me, or you can save your questions for Tuesday, and we'll get to them then. So Hopefully this helps you understand Essay 1 better and what the expectations are. So again, if you have any questions, please let me know.